This story starts in 18th century Australia. We see a girl trying to comfort a crying child. Suddenly, someone calls her, and she walks away. A woman standing off in the distance, who had been watching, steps forward and picks the child up. The kid slowly calms down, and the woman takes a rosary off her neck and puts it around the child's. Then she carries the child over to a waterfall. Suddenly, something strange happens. She has no idea why, but without warning, she throws the child down the waterfall, which was pretty shocking. Right after, she heads straight to the church, confesses what she did, and admits she made a huge mistake. Soon after, we hear that she was punished for her crime, executed, and in a really brutal way. We see her dead body in the forest, tied to a chair, lying down with her head locked inside a cage. Then, a mysterious man shows up, cuts off her finger, and wraps it in a cloth. After that, we meet 𝐓𝐡𝐞, the main character. She's a poor farmer living with her brother and mom. She's 17, and today's her wedding day, so she's looking really happy. 𝐓𝐡𝐞, her brother, and her mom are all heading to another village, carrying their stuff on a freight train. All this is for her future husband. When they got to the village, they found out the wedding preparations were already underway. The guy 𝐓𝐡𝐞 is marrying is named Wolf. The villagers were they lifted 𝐓𝐡𝐞 up in their arms, which made her really happy. Now, Wolf's mom makes 𝐓𝐡𝐞 wear an apron, and then they give her a doll that looks like a little kid. Seeing this, everyone, including 𝐓𝐡𝐞, looks really happy. The whole point was to show her that, after marriage, she should be a good wife. She'll be able to handle all the housework. On top of that, she'll have another responsibility, taking care of her child when she becomes a mom. So, they both get married. And while everyone's celebrating and dancing, Wolf tells 𝐓𝐡𝐞 to come with him. "I've got something special to show you." He wanted to surprise her. He blindfolded her and took her to a new house. Seeing it, 𝐓𝐡𝐞 said in surprise, "But I thought I'd be living with your mom." Wolf replied, "My brother's getting that house. I bought this one with my own savings and a loan." 𝐓𝐡𝐞 got really worried when she heard that. She immediately said, "You took out a loan? But why? And how are you going to pay it back now?" Wolf smiled and said, "Don't worry about it. This is my job. Everything's going to be fine." Meanwhile, it felt like evening since morning. The villagers were still dancing, totally wasted from drinking too much. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 notices that Wolf is completely drunk too, chatting with his friend. After a while, 𝐓𝐡𝐞's family decides it's time to head back. Her brother hands Agnes a gift wrapped in cloth. When she opens it, it's the severed finger of the woman who's about to be publicly executed. Her brother says that it's like a lucky charm for you. You'll have a happy life with your husband, and pretty soon you'll get the wonderful news that you're going to be a mom. Hearing this, 𝐓𝐡𝐞 feels really happy, and the brother and sister hug each other tight. They say they'll miss each other a lot. Later, when 𝐓𝐡𝐞 arrives at her new home, she kisses that same finger and slips it under her bed, hoping it brings her good luck. After that, she starts praying to God to make her a good wife and bless her with children soon. After a while, Wolf came home drunk. Agnes thought about going to him like a good wife to have a nice time, but instead, he yelled at her, told her to go to sleep, and went to bed himself. The next morning, when Agnes woke up, Wolf wasn't in bed. She looked all over the house and the stable, but couldn't find him anywhere. So, Agnes got dressed and headed out to the forest. After wandering around for a long time, she spotted some strange marks on a piece of paper stuck to a tree. They were from the same woman who had abandoned her sick child, and now she had died. Seeing this, 𝐓𝐴𝐞 felt really bad. As she went further, she saw the dead woman still tied to a chair, her head cut off and placed beside her in a cage. This sight made her heart sink. But a little further on, 𝐓𝐴𝐞 found Wolf fishing in the pond with his mother and the villagers. Wolf's mother called out to her, telling her to come and start working. 𝐓𝐴𝐞 was really eager to get to work. She tries, but since she's never done this kind of work before, it's really tough for her. Just then, the church bells start ringing. Hearing that, 𝐓𝐴𝐞 drops to her knees and begins to pray. Seeing her like that, Wolf's mom gets annoyed and says, "Enough with the praying. Are you planning to do all your prayers today? That's plenty. Now get back to work." Later that afternoon, 𝐓𝐴𝐞 and Wolf's mom are handing out bread to the workers. giving everyone just one piece each. One guy asks for 2 pieces, saying he's really hungry. Aegis feels sorry for him and gives him 2 pieces of bread. But when Wolf's mother sees this, she takes one back and says, "Go away, be patient, and eat whatever you're given." Aegis is really surprised and feels bad about it. Wolf then shows Aegis the way home through the pond. He also tells him to start dressing properly for the kind of work he does. When Aegis gets home, she gets busy with other chores. That evening, she keeps kissing her cut finger and tucks it under the bed, hoping her husband will stay with her lovingly. They're going to have a baby soon. But tonight, he pushes her away. This breaks Agnes's heart, so she steps out into the darkness and starts crying. The next morning, Agnes goes to church, and looking at the statue of Jesus holding a child, she prays to God for a baby of her own. Agnes and Wolf's mother head to the pond to wash clothes. Just then, a pregnant woman shows up. She used to work at Wolf's house. She quickly becomes friends with Agnes. Later, the 2 of them go into the forest to rest, but they end up falling asleep there. When Agnes opened her eyes, she realized she'd been asleep for a long time. That woman was gone too. So Agnes quickly got up and headed back to the house. When she got there, she saw Wolf's mom cooking. She asked, "Can I help you?" But Wolf's mom snapped, "Where have you been all this time?" Agnes said she'd been to church. Wolf's mom sneered, "Pray all you want, but God doesn't help a woman who can't even take care of her husband or cook his meals on time." She says the plant you kept is really bad. It's dirty, and it makes the whole house look messy, so it'd be better to just throw it out. Now, Agnes feels really upset because of how they acted. She asks Wolf if his mom is going to come every day. He says, "I don't know." Then Agnes asks if his mom hates her. Wolf explains that's not true. He says his mom is just a bit strict, and anger runs in their family. That night, Wolf goes to bed without talking to Agnes, which makes her really sad. She wonders what she should do to make her husband. She takes an interest in me. She goes to an old room behind the house where she's made a little shack, a kind of prayer spot. She prays to God there. Then a butterfly lands on her face. Eggs feels happy, thinking it's a sign of hope for her. The next morning, she wakes up early and heads to the pond to catch fish before anyone else gets there. But poor thing, she can't catch a single fish. Instead, she ends up stuck in the mud and can't get out. Then the wolf shows up with his workers he gets upset when he sees eggs like this. He says, "You shouldn't have come here because this mud is really dangerous. A lot of people have drowned and died here." Eggs replies that she's just getting back at herself for not cooking food yesterday. The wolf quickly takes her away so the fish don't get scared and swim off. At night, someone knocks on the wolf's door and tells him something really bad has happened to his friend. So, he rushes out to check. Then Agnes shows up too. She hears a woman screaming nearby, which makes her shake. She grabs a light and heads over to the neighbor's house to see what's going on. When she gets there, she sees a crowd gathered outside Wolf's friend's place. Turns out, Wolf's friend had hung himself and taken his own life. A man comes to take the body, and the guy's mom is crying, begging him not to take her son away, but nobody listens. They load the body onto a cart and take it away. Seeing all this, Agnes is really scared. She truly is. She comes back home and starts praying to always be protected from all evil. The next day, the father arrives and says that Wolf's friend's body shouldn't be buried because suicide is a serious crime. At first, the woman who threw the child off the waterfall was actually his own mother. But since she confessed her crime, she still has to go to jail. She was almost forgiven, and he was forgiven too because he died a painful death. But since he confessed his crime, his soul, he's going to heaven. But Wolf's friend committed such a terrible act by taking his own life that his soul is lost and will definitely go to hell. After leaving the church, August sees that Wolf's friend's body has been thrown in the trash to rot alongside other criminals. The next day, while working in the fields, August had a women's health issue and started crying in despair because she had prayed to become a mother. That afternoon, when Agnes was handing out rotis, her pregnant friend said, "Please give me one more, because I'm eating for 2 now, me and the baby." But since Wolf's mom was there, Agnes had to say no. To make things worse, her mother-in-law said she shouldn't worry about the food and should be grateful to even have a job there. Hearing that made Agnes feel really bad and angry. That's why, on her way home, she would hurt herself with thorny plants. When she felt upset, she even started scratching her tongue. She hurt herself more with a thorny branch, causing a lot of bleeding, and it was really heartbreaking to see. After that, she lay down next to the headless woman's body and rested for a while. That night, when 𝐲𝐲 didn't come home, Wolf's mother complained to him, saying, "Look, your wife still hasn't come back. I'm really worried about her. She never comes home on time, doesn't cook properly, and doesn't do any work right. She doesn't even take care of you. She's not having a baby either." Hearing this, the wolf says, "Mom, calm down. Give 𝐲𝐲 some more time. She'll do everything." His mother replies, "You've made a mistake too. You should have married a girl from this village who would do all these things and have your children." Little did they know, Agnes was standing outside, overhearing everything. She started crying, feeling heartbroken. She thought to herself, "How can I tell Wolf's mom that the baby wasn't my fault? It was her son's." But now, instead of going back home, she comes to the dead body of that same headless woman. To calm herself, she sings songs to her all night long. The next morning, instead of heading to Wolf's place, she goes to her old mom's house. From the window, she sees her mom and brother sitting comfortably, having breakfast. After a while, her brother comes to the stable and finds Agnes asleep. Their mom shows up too. Agnes tells them, "I can't live in my husband's house. I feel scared there." Her mother said, "Son, that's your home. I can't keep you here with me." She added, "But whenever you're in trouble or feeling down, I'll come see you right away." That's why she sits near the house, feeling hopeless. The wolf comes by in the afternoon and asks Agnes to come home with him. When Agnes says no, he forces her with her brother's help and takes her to his place. Agnes refuses to do any of the housework. Seeing how she was, it seemed like she's broken inside. She either sleeps all day or just prays non-stop. Her mother-in-law snaps at her, "Girl, cut the drama and pull yourself together." But Agnes, who had lost all hope, didn't say a word. Wolf's mom started changing her clothes, planning to take her to the doctor. Then, in a fit of anger, Agnes grabs the clothes and puts them on herself. After the checkup, she begins heading home alone. On the way, she comes across a little kid she doesn't recognize. Seeing the child, she got really happy right away and scooped him up into her lap. She thought, "My prayers have been answered. This is a gift from God." She took him home. But Wolf's mom got really mad and said she should take the kid back where she found her because her parents were looking for her. The poor girl didn't have any choice but to agree, so she left the child there, believing the parents would come for her. When she got home, she prayed a lot for the child. As soon as night falls, Wolf is out having fun and drinking with the villagers. He doesn't care at all about his wife, who's drowning in depression, lying on her bed. Again, she takes out her cut finger, licks the blood, and starts praying to God. After a while, she collapses, trembling and hurt. Strange thoughts start creeping in, totally disconnected from reality. Then, as soon as she closes her eyes, she has a vision. She's digging in the soil and finds her own dead body buried underground. That's when she realizes she's been buried. Suddenly, her eyes opened. She saw Wolf standing there, holding her by the throat. He was frustrated and didn't know what to do with 𝐲𝐲 anymore. Trying to control his anger, he left the room. After a long while, he came back. Seeing how 𝐲𝐲 was, he thought maybe she should see a doctor again. But 𝐲𝐲 told him there was no need because her time had come. She asked him to call her father or a priest so she could confess her sins. Hearing this, Wolf got really upset and stormed out. After some time, he returned and said to 𝐲𝐲, "Dad's not home right now, so we'll have to meet him tomorrow." Agnes is really scared she might die without confessing what she did, and that her soul will go to hell. She tells him the truth, that she swallowed rat poison. When Wolf hears this, he freaks out and makes her do the opposite. Luckily, he manages to get the poison out just in time. After a while, Wolf's mom shows up. She sees Agnes is alive, but super weak, so she helps her get dressed. Then, Wolf picks her up and takes her to his mom's place. tells Agnes's mom, his mother-in-law, that she's eaten rat poison and he thinks she's possessed by some kind of devil. He believes it's important for her to stay here. She should live peacefully at her mom's place instead of being forced to stay at his house. After that, he says goodbye to his wife and leaves. The next morning, Agnes is feeling better than before and cleans her room. Then she gets ready, says goodbye to her family, and leaves the house. She heads into the forest where she saw a group of kids playing and asked one of them, "Can you tell me about the shrine here? I'll give you some money." The kid agreed, and when they got to the shrine, August told him to pray with her. The kid agreed, and they both went inside and started praying. But suddenly, August stabbed the boy in the neck, injuring him and causing him to fall. She grabbed him, and the boy begged, "Please don't kill me." But she stabbed him multiple times until he died. Looking at his dead body, she said, "Now, you committed a crime. But since you were a kid, God saw you as an angel." Then she went to church. The next day, she talked about seeing the priest. That night, she cut her hair, and the next day she started confessing all her wrongdoings to the priest. First, she said she couldn't make her husband happy. Then she admitted she thought badly about her mother-in-law. She couldn't take care of the animals in the barn and caused problems for her family by not doing her work right. She went on to say that she tried really hard to be a good wife, but failed. And then she took rat poison thinking that no one can help me. Besides that, I did something terrible. I killed a child. I thought maybe if that child didn't go on to commit crimes, my soul might find some peace. As August told all this, she was crying, begging God not to send her to hell. She was asking for forgiveness, hoping it would be accepted. After hearing her whole story, the father decides to absolve her sins. He tells August that God has forgiven her. Hearing this, August feels a huge relief and starts laughing and crying at the same time, like a huge weight has been lifted. The weight's been lifted off her heart. The next day, people hung pictures of her crimes on the trees, just like they used to do. August was dressed in animal skins and paraded around the village on a cart. Then they took him to the spot where he was going to be executed. He was made to sit on a chair and they put a mask on his face. Wolf was there too, looking really sad and crying. August started singing a slow, calming song as he confessed everything. After that, they cut his head off. Now, the vibe of the crowd shifts all of a sudden. Everyone starts getting happy. Then the blood dripping from August's neck is caught in a bucket, and people begin paying to fill their cups and glasses with it so they can drink it. They believe he confessed his crimes, that his prayers were answered, and he was forgiven. That's why they think his blood is pure and holy, and that drinking it will bring them happiness and good luck. The villagers start dancing with joy, while August's head hangs from a tree, and that's the end of August's story, and the movie too.